she's done. No more gambling, no more drinking, hell, no more moving around.
New pardons by President Trump, and they're starting to follow a pattern.
President Trump didn't just commute their sentences.
Todd and Julie Chrisleys, stars of the reality television show Chrisley Knows Best, they're set to be released from prison.
In a federal prison in Florida, Todd Chrisley gets a call, not from a lawyer, not from his wife, but from the White House. And just like that, the star of Chrisley Knows Best walks free. So does his wife, Julie. Just a signed piece of paper from the President of the United States himself. And just like that, 2 convicted felons who stole millions are free. They weren't innocent. They weren't framed. So why were they pardoned? What message does this send? And was this a real pardon or something much deeper? Todd Chrisley wasn't just a reality star, he was America's dad. If you asked his fans, he called himself the patriarch of a close-knit Christian family. He prayed before meals, he quoted scripture, he told viewers how to live right.
For your blessings, you left the whole highway. Pray for him every night. That's what I pray for.
The Chrisleys weren't just wealthy, they were blessed, or so it seemed. Behind the scenes, things looked very different. Before Chrisley Knows Best hit TV, Todd was already being investigated. His businesses were failing. His personal spending was out of control. So he made a decision. Instead of cutting back, he started faking his financial life. Todd and Julie submitted false documents to banks, fake account statements, fake credit reports. They told the banks they were millionaires. They weren't. Then came the TV deal. They became famous.
You two are adults now.
No, they ain't adults. Legally, they're adults. Legally, they're adults. You're an adult when you don't have your hand in somebody else's pocket.
I pay for. You offer to help. You offer to help. If you're going to offer to help, why would I not accept it? That's dumb of me not to.
Because I just volunteer to give money away.
But you do.
Julie opened secret accounts. They created shell companies. And when the IRS asked questions, they stopped filing taxes completely. For years, on camera, they preached family values. Off camera, they were stealing from banks and hiding it all under designer suits.
If anyone even knew truly what has gone on in our life, the things that have happened and how we still have to keep fighting, and then they want to sit and talk about, go pay your taxes. Dude, shut up. I've paid more taxes than you've ever earned.
How long could they keep it up? And why didn't anyone catch them sooner?
But because they are in the limelight in this way, I think that the FBI and law enforcement is making an example out of them because everyone can see them. The exposure is that much bigger.
Federal investigators had built their case. The FBI had emails, text messages, phone calls. The evidence was clear. The Chrisleys were indicted on 12 counts: bank fraud, tax evasion, wire fraud, and conspiracy.
In a nutshell, there were 3 main issues in the case. The first was that the Chrisleys defrauded banks. I'll unpack what that means in just a minute. And the second was that the Chrisleys failed to pay taxes and lied about what they earned. And in this case, that their tax accountant, Peter Tarantino, helped them. He was also convicted. And then there were extra counts against Julie Chrisley related to wire fraud and obstruction of justice. So looking at just that first issue, the bank fraud, the government said that what the Chrisleys were doing was using falsified documents when they got loans or when they extended loans that they already had. And they were using those falsified documents to convince the banks that they were worth millions and were a safe risk, when in fact, the government says they weren't a safe risk and they didn't have enough money to qualify for the loans.
But even then, they said it was all lies. Todd blamed a former employee, Mark Braddock. He said Braddock forged everything. He said they were innocent.
I've never talked about this publicly before, but there's been a cloud hanging over Julie and me and our entire family for the past 7 years. It all started back in 2012 when we discovered that a trusted employee of ours had been stealing from us big time.
But when Braddock took the stand, he didn't just admit what he did. He said he and Todd had a secret romantic relationship. The courtroom froze. Todd denied it, but the damage was done.
For me to finally be accused of being with a man, it would be someone that looked like Mark Braddock. It's actually in the transcript that he had only been with his wife and me, and it was just something he wanted to try. Nah, I ain't that small spoon that you get at Baskin-Robbins.
Prosecutors brought forward receipts, emails and messages showing the Chrisleys had knowingly lied about everything. It wasn't just fraud, it was years of manipulation, a family business built on lies. In 2022, the verdict came in, guilty. Todd was sentenced to 12 years. Julie got 7, but even as they were taken away, they claimed it was all a mistake. Was it denial, or did they know something the public didn't?
They falsified documents to secure over $30 million in loans using fake financial statements to trick small community banks in Atlanta. When old loans came due, they took out new ones to cover them, spinning a web of deceit. They hid millions in income from the IRS, funneling Todd's earnings into accounts under Julie's name to dodge taxes. Their reality TV wealth? A facade propped up by fraud.
January 2025. Todd has only served 2 years of his sentence. Julie served even less. Then, the impossible happens. President Donald Trump signs a full pardon. No press conference, no warning, a few strokes of ink, a presidential signature, and just like that, they're free.
Former reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley free this morning after President Trump signed their full pardons.
It's all God and President Trump at this point.
The media explodes, supporters cheer, critics are outraged. Everyone has the same question. Why them? They were guilty. By the book, by the evidence. The FBI proved it. The IRS proved it. A jury agreed. So how did 2 convicted felons go from prison jumpsuits to walking free with presidential protection? Was it because they were celebrities? Or did something happen behind the scenes that the public doesn't know about?
I know what trending is better than anybody in the world. I've been trending my whole life. From the day I was born, I've been trending.
I like the good publicity and I like the bad publicity. It all plays.
For President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
The president called me personally and notified me that he was signing pardon paperwork for both of my parents.
Give them my regards and wish them a good life. They were given a pretty harsh treatment based on what I'm hearing. Congratulate your parents.
Congratulations, Savannah.
And Alice had a lot to do with this, and just congratulate your parents.
Let's look at the facts. Todd and Julie Chrisley were outspoken. They publicly supported Donald Trump. They were anti-government, anti-IRS. Trump has a history of giving pardons to people he believes were treated unfairly.
President Trump's hinting at another possible high-profile pardon for 9 men convicted in a 2020 kidnapping plot of Michigan's Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
It looked to me like somewhat of a railroad job, but I'll take a look at that.
But this one is different. There was no question of guilt. There were no legal errors. Even legal experts were stunned. Because a presidential pardon is usually for people who were wrongly convicted.
Essentially, presidents have broad authority to pardon any number of crimes, but there's one thing that constrains that power, and that's that a president can only pardon federal crimes. Either state governments investigate or local officials investigate. Those are not under the purview of the president's pardon power.
So what changed? Did Trump owe them a favor? Did someone lobby for them behind closed doors?
When he was asked later why he decided to run for president, he said, quote, "Because here's the way I look at it. I have so many rich friends, and nobody knows who they are."
The Republican side, there's speculation that developer Donald Trump may throw his hat into the ring.
Some people say it was just politics. But here's the truth. They lied. They stole. They manipulated. And yet, they walked out of prison as if nothing happened. So what happens now? Will they get another TV deal? Will they profit off their crimes? And most importantly, if Todd and Julie Chrisley can commit federal fraud and walk free, who else can?